Thanks for staying with us. This is Newsline, and we're talking tonight about whether Hong Kong needs tough new security laws to protect our national security and mainland China's national security. I've got two guests here, James To, a member of the Legislative Council, who thinks no, it's not the right time to have such a law, and I've got Peter Wong, a member of China's Parliament, the National People's Congress, who think yes, we need to at least discuss such a law. So I will go to you now again. Go to you, James To. Every country has a national security law. I was working in the United States right after 9/11. I was there during 9/11, and they came out with one of the toughest national security laws I've ever seen, called the Patriot Act. And if you look at the Article 23 proposals that were put out in 2003, they were really weak compared to the Patriot Act. Yet America passed that law. The UK has very tough national security laws. France, much of Europe have got them. Why shouldn't we?
Well, first, we have national security law. National security law. Because in the crimes ordinance, in the various ordinances...
That's criminal law.
No. Quite different. No. We are talking about what act should be punishable and punished in our existing legislation.
But it's not the same as a national security law.
No.
The aim is different.
I would say, I'll tell you, out of the so-called 7 elements in the Article 23 legislation, we have already 6 in our existing law, as modified by the Reversion Act, effective on the very
You mean laws that were passed under the colonial era?
Exactly. Right? As modified by the Reversion law at the very moment of the changeover.
So Peter Wong, James To here, and he knows what he's talking about because he's a member of the LegCo's security panel. He deals with these laws, and you're a lawyer as well, right? Now, he says we already have them.
No, I think the criminal code is very clear. It's black and white. But when it comes to national securities, the loopholes being covered, the law codes which you have just mentioned in the States, in Europe, is totally different from what we are having. So
they allow people to go into your home without you knowing about it, take pictures, spy on you, listen to your conversations.
We have the interception of communication ordinance, and one of the ground is national security. So they have all the power and all the power.
Can agents, undercover agents, go into your home without you knowing about it when you're out and spy on you and take pictures of your home and go through your files and
None of what you said appear in the 2003 draft.
They exist in the Patriot Act in the U.S.
Okay, but in the 2003 draft,
and peek,
in the final draft even, after the three so-called big concession, quote unquote, none of what you said have appeared in that law. That means even at that time, the Six government did not propose that.
That's why it's a weaker law than Western countries. Yet Hong Kong people say no, we don't want it. Why is that?
Well, because
Western countries have got far tougher laws.
No, the point is that first, we have existing laws, 6 topics out of 7. And if what we define is about criminal behavior, okay, then I really have difficulty to understand what Peter means about criminal code as against national security law.
Okay, What's
the reason? What you want in the national security law?
Number one, it's a good discussion we have.
Okay.
I don't dispute what James said. All I'm saying is that Hong Kong now, we don't have a national security law. Not necessarily tough, as you put it. You have already explained yourself.
National security laws have got to be tough, otherwise it's
content,
ineffective.
as James put it, is actually much weaker than the rest of the national security.
No, when I say
now,
tough...
my purpose of really putting this always again and again is that to get people aware of the necessity of our obligation of the SAR to make it. At least, I think we talk about it. Now, James expressed his dissatisfaction with some of it. I think in my camp, myself, I think in just half an hour, we can't really put a rational discussion on it. But I think at least we kick it off. And I think that is what I'm going to push on.
But tell me this. In the States, in the UK, in Europe, they've got these new security laws toughened out like the Patriot Act in the US.
Michael, we don't have
No,
we
no.
don't have democracy.
No, okay, but
A
they
democratically elected legislature
right.
and the government.
I understand that, but those laws were passed by a freely elected legislature in the U.S. Okay, by the Congress, with no debate. It just went through because the background was the 9/11.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so they can see a real target. They know that there's a danger. They know security is at stake because they saw it happen on 9/11.
Pressing need.
My question, my
Who are
statement,
we targeting in Hong Kong?
my question is that, do we need in Hong Kong a case like 911 before we really seriously look at
Who are we
anniversary?
targeting? Okay.
No,
then
Hong Kong is an open cage. Everyone can be here.
When we have, you say we should have a national security law aimed at whom in Hong Kong? Who are we aiming it at?
Well, there are many
We have no
elements.
terrorists in Hong Kong.
Not just Hong Kong, but Michael, the thing is that it's China. There are a lot of anti-Chinese
But they have their own
elements.
laws in China. They've got
No, no,
very tough laws.
Hong Kong is part of China. We cannot give that away.
But the problems that exist in China don't exist here.
But we
No, not necessarily. Some of them do. You know, we are very fortunate. I mean,
It is one country, two systems,
Yeah, we have a
after all.
system of our own.
Uh-huh.
But when it comes into the national security, I think it is still one family. As I said it earlier, when other people look upon China, if they are not happy with China, Hong Kong is one of their targets.
Will
we can't-
Hong Kong people
let me
buy?
clarify. We have very good and effective law against terrorists and terrorist activities in Hong Kong, both in terms of the criminal law and the law enforcement power. We have very good and effective law.
Will Hong Kong people buy the argument that Peter Wong says that sooner or later we need such a law, not just for us, when it comes to national security, we're a family. Hong Kong and China, we're one country, which is a fact. We are one country. So will Hong Kong people buy the fact that we need such laws in Hong Kong to protect the nation?
Well, I'm the first one to say that we need such a law. But what I said
Then
is
why are you arguing against it?
no, we say the existing law, as modified by the Revision Act, is almost 98% of what we feel is enough to protect the national
So
security.
you think we will never need an Article 23?
No, maybe one or two very narrow content.
You agree with that?
Now, when James said that it's 98, 99,
Of
if it is not 100%, a law has got to be 100%.
Yes.
You can't finish a law with 99%.
Peter Wong, do you envisage
Yeah.
an Article 23 law, a national security law? Do you envisage a law that grants great powers to the authorities to make sure national security is protected? James Stoll brought up a very important point here. Other countries that pass such a law are democratically elected
Yeah.
countries. We're not. Well, we're not. Dare we have a draconian law put in the hands of the authorities?
Number one, I think I don't disagree that I don't agree with the fact that we do not have democracy in Hong Kong. It is really the degree and the form of democracy is a little different, especially
Because if
after
you put
last
such
year.
laws in the hands of a totalitarian government or a dictator, it can be very, very...
We are talking of, we still at a certain amount of autonomy ourselves. And I thought that if a law is passed, a lot of the enforcement is really in the hand of Hong Kong. So I think that whether that is the case, we have got to talk about it. That is always my...
You do not fear that if we have such a law that Beijing could influence Hong Kong to do things?
I don't think... I
Under that
think
law?
China, the central government, will pay great respect to the autonomy of Hong Kong, even in exercising Article 23.
Okay, so if somebody in Hong Kong, now we have freedom of speech, we have free press, we have a free assembly, we have all of that, right? If we have a law to protect the national security of the whole country, could some of these things be interpreted differently? If you go out there and say down with Beijing, down with Hu Jintao, would that be subversion?
I think so. I mean, the thing is
You
that...
think it would be?
I think that wherever, if, say, for example, we are enjoying freedom of expressions in Hong Kong at the moment, I think we would still enjoy the same, except for a lot of those acts or deeds is actually affect China's own national security. Now,
Define
we have
that.
to.
How?
That is something we have got to discuss, and Well, I think, as you said, that there are many laws in the world already deplete very clearly what is national security stance. Now, we may disagree in Hong Kong in how those laws to be interpreted. And I think that is something, that's why I always say that let's sit down and talk about it, and instead of brushing it aside.
Do Hong Kong people feel that Hong Kong can be used as a base to subvert China?
Well, I will not avoid the fact that Hong Kong was and is always a base of ideological subversion.
You agree with Peter Wong
on the whole world.
You agree with
Peter or even
Wong
on China or Taiwan. Okay, but look at the history. We celebrate 100 years of our good revolution, starting a more modern Chinese governmental structure.
If an Article 23 proposal was put on the table again like it was in 2003 with Regina Yip, and she had such flack from the people she had to resign, in a way it also brought down Tung Chee-hwa. If you put that same law, maybe tougher, maybe weaker, on the table today, will it pass? Will it pass your legislative council? Will it bring out another 500,000 people into the streets?
Well, I would have at least a 10-odd amendment to it. In order
will it bring out the people
to satisfy the balance between national security and the human rights?
Okay, will people be as opposed as they were in 2003?
Well, then we should have a good, strong, and good consensus in order to start.
Well, you know, one of the reasons, I think I've just got a couple of minutes left. Like every year, we mark June 4th, and we did again last night with the candlelight vigil and so on. Isn't it time we moved on, James?
No, we want a modern China with a strong human rights protection, with a modern system adhering to universal value. Then, of course, we would, as a citizen of the whole China, then I would like our country to grow and to remember the past so that we can look forward.
I've got 40 seconds to respond to that. Should we just put it behind us?
I think June 4th is a profound incident in China's history. I think there's some lessons which we've always got to remember. But I think that as far as moving forward is concerned, we've got to also look ahead. So I would appeal to whoever have some grievance of June the 4th. And I think whatever fairness, judgment to that, they will be given in history.
All right, okay. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Good evening.